Hello everyone, and welcome to part 5 of how to make a platformer game in Unity. So last time, we started working with our better designed sprites, and in order to create sort of a vertical slice that will just demonstrate what we have going on with our level. Now I would like to improve how the player moves and create some sort of system for the camera to scroll around the scene. Now, starting with player movement, I want to make it so you can't turn around instantly mid-jump. So I'm going to open up the player move script, and here's the code we made. So the way I'm going to make it so you can't instantly turn around mid-flight is by adding this and it landed variable. And by doing this, I could make it so you can only turn around mid-flight. I do believe there is a bit of a bug with this, and that's that you lose all of your velocity the moment you jump. This is because our else statement is setting you to speed 0 when these aren't in effect. So when you're landed, or when you're not landed, then it jumps straight down to this statement that sets speed 0. All I'm going to do is add if landed. Actually, else if landed. So now it should allow me to continue arcing through my flight. Oh. But now I can't immediately turn around. I have to wait till the end of the flight. But what if I don't want to do that? What if I want you to still move while in mid-air? So what I would need to do in order to make it so you can still move while airborne is just add this same statement, only this exclamation mark, which checks for this variable to mean false. So when this is not landed, then I will still be able to move when you're pressing the keys, but I want you to move a lot slower. So maybe more like 2F. Now let's see how that works. Oh, that's a problem. Yeah. And what we need to do, more specifically, is to check a turnaround. Because if you're going to the right at a certain velocity, I want you to keep going right and only slow down if you press a key for the opposite direction. And so, because of how we want our player to accelerate when airborne and not airborne, instead of directly changing the speed variable, we should be changing it or incrementing or decrementing it in this bit of line, and then if you surpass a certain threshold, so let's say speed.x is greater than, well, we want our max speed to be like 6, we're just going to say speed.x equals 6. And what I'm going to do up here is instead decrement speed when you're pressing left and increment speed when you're pressing right. And this will create a bit more acceleration. So it'll take you a few frames to get to your max speed. Oh, that's not right. Oh, that's because I never had one for when you go left. Equals negative 6f. And I would have to experiment with this bit, but this is basically what I want to do. I want to have a bit of acceleration, and when you're landed, or when you're not landed, I want how much you can accelerate to be a lot less. And by doing this, I can make it so your movement speed in the air is slower than your movement speed on the ground. Let's see how well that worked. Oh, okay. That's a problem. Oh, it should be less than -6, because it would always be less than 6 when you're not moving. So now I can decelerate, and however, it feels a little slippery on the ground, so I might want to increase how quickly you accelerate when airborne, or when you're landed. I do like the speed when you're not landed, though, because I feel like you should have an opportunity to get back to your platform in case you regret your decision, or if there's an obstacle that you didn't notice a second ago. Anyway, I do like the improved movement, and the next thing I need to do is make it so the camera can scroll left and right. But first, I just want to recap what I was doing to get the movement down. So I decided to make it so you have a bit of acceleration and make it different for when you are on the ground and when you are not on the ground. So using the landed variable that we created a while ago, I decided to have one set of if statements for when you're landed and one set of if statements when you're not landed. The landed ones make it so your acceleration it increases by 1 unit per frame, and then when you're not landed, it increases 1/4 of a unit per frame. And when it gets to this line of text, or line of code, it sets your speed to whatever you want it to be. And here just locks your speed at a certain max value. That way you can't get to a ridiculously high velocity, because if I didn't have this, you could theoretically accelerate endlessly. Alright, now on to camera movement. So this really comes down to how I want the camera to move around the scene. The easiest thing to do is to take your camera in this hierarchy panel and just drag it under your player. That way, now it will follow your every movement. But there's a slight problem with this, and that's that you don't really get much control over where your camera is, and it doesn't really feel like you're moving so much, which is a bit of a problem. And the way we can fix that is by having a script for the camera to follow the player, but only in a certain way that it brings the focus to what is needed. Like when your player is moving forward, the camera should be a bit in front of you so you can see what's ahead of you. When the player is falling, the camera should be below the player and, well, maybe traveling down at constant speed with the player accelerating past it, so it gives the illusion that you're falling faster than the camera can keep up. And as for jumping, I think the camera should remain at a fixed height until you land, where it raises up to the player. And then the camera will remain at a certain level with the player. You know, just a certain distance away, just to make sure that the player and the environment is both on screen at the same time. Anyway, that wraps it up for this video. Next time we're going to create that system to get the camera to move around how we want it to. If you have any questions about this video or suggestions for I can improve future videos, please let me know. Thank you for watching, and I hope you check out my next video. Goodbye.